My name is Mohammed Riaz. I'm the managing partner for IBM Global Business Services, and we help our clients with transforming their business and application and system integration. I think retail industry is going through a dramatic shift, right? And we're seeing that coming across. We're seeing retail industry becoming much more digitalized. So if I have to pick out the 5 main things that is really driving the retail industry and which could potentially, keep the CEO up at night, it would be, the first thing I would call out would be mobility, right? So mobility is really that all the customers are getting on to mobile, and the way you want to interact with them, the way you want to engage with them is through the mobile channel. The second element is really about analytics. So the client expect you to know them. They expect you to know exactly what they're looking for at the right time, at the right place, and they expect you to use the insights you've got about them in this interaction. The third part is actually around social and the social media and the social interaction. So we know that it used to be the retailers themselves who knew about customers before, and it was all through the point of sale interactions. Now that's really changed, so you have a lot more data about your customers through the social media, much more than what they actually leave behind when they are in the store. The fourth thing is really about the omni-channel. So how do you make sure that you give your customers the same experience, whether they're interacting with you in their stores, if they are on the mobile and getting onto your mobile site, is it an e-commerce, or you're talking with them in a call center or customer service center. So they really want to make sure you know them and you don't need to ask the same questions over and over again, right? So it's about that omni-channel integration. And the last but not least is really the Internet of Things. So every element, every interaction is now enabled through some digital device, whether it is RFID, it's iBeacon technology, it is your mobile. You need to make sure that you use these technologies to do a much better customer experience. One of the key things that we're seeing in the Middle East that there is a lot of adoption of mobile. Every customer has a mobile, they might have several mobile devices. But the data that is coming through the mobile channel, the data that retailers are collecting when they're in the stores are still very much disparate, in disparate systems of record. So the retailers still have a challenge in collecting that data, bringing some of the patterns that the customer has, bringing it together and have a holistic view, a 360 view of the customer and get them the right offer. So I think it's important for the retailers to both work across their different business units, but also work outside their industries. So I would expect a much stronger collaboration across the industries. So for example, retailers working with the airlines, working with the telco providers, collect that data across different segments and come up with even more direct offer. I believe that there is so many shifts happening in the retail industry, right? And I would say retailers are challenged on a lot of fronts. The customer expectations is rising, the turnaround in terms of products, the new channels. They've got a lot of challenges that they need to look at. So they really need to prioritize and pick a few key prioritize, create some strong, compelling wins which entice the customer, get some success stories. So start simple, start with some small pilots. They could potentially try to pick a store, try to build the right infrastructure in the store where they can identify their customer coming into the store, try to give them the right offer, learn from that and build, but they need to keep a long-term story in place. It is not just about building a mobile app or having a retail store with some iBeacon technology. It is to have a roadmap, but then build it up in small steps. It's great to be here today. I'm really excited. This is our second year. I see a much stronger audience coming. I've had a great roundtable with a lot of clients coming in here, and we have been able to share some of the trends we see. It's also exciting for me on behalf of IBM that we are launching the IBM Apple retail applications. so the customers can see how our partnership with Apple is unfolding.